Nothing is more precious than teaching. You cannot say, I don't have time. I need to cover the unit. We're going to talk about that as well. No, you don't need to cover the unit. They need to cover the unit. That's the basic difference. So if you say, pair up, you two, you find a partner, get up, find a partner, work with them. This will take half an hour. Good. Next time, 25 minutes. Next time, 20. Next time, 15. And one day when you say, pair work, they will immediately turn to their partner. Okay? So you see them as not waste of time, but precious investments. Okay? Anything else? To deal with classroom management issues, anything else? When did they switch to Turkish?
It is difficult to express some vocabularies in English.
Okay. Did you hear what your friend said? What did she say?
She said when it's hard to express some vocabulary.
A vocabulary item. Okay. Now I have a vocabulary item for you. Hocam, challenge ne demek? I'd explain in Turkish meaning of it, please. Don't know the Turkish? Peki, task ne demek hocam? Görev, responsibility gibi bir şey. Değil mi? Nasıl bir şey?
That's why we speak in Tarzanca, I would say. We can find.
Remember, each and every language belongs to a society, and it reflects the features of that society. So there's no one language that is exactly the same with another one. Otherwise, they would be two different languages anyways. If you have Turkish and English, that means there are two different languages. If you start explaining everything in Turkish, giving Turkish meanings, what kind of an impression are you creating on your students? We're going to talk about that, not right now. And one day, when you just, encounter a vocabulary item, battle. Battle ne demek hocam? Savaş yani işte dövüşüyorsun falan. Savaş, war demiştiniz. Geçen hafta war demiştiniz ya. Değiştiriyorsunuz. See? Don't cause more confusion, because then you will start coming up with artificial explanations. And we're going to talk about them as well. I have seen teachers giving funny, humorous explanations to their students. Okay. What else? Okay, vocabulary, classroom management. How about grammar teaching? Do they switch to Turkish as well?
Yes.
Bak şimdi.
When we come
Geçmişte başlamış. Hala devam eden. You know that feeling, don't you? Yeah. When you ask the teachers, they say that this explanation is so complicated that they can't understand in English. So they're doing it in Turkish. But the amazing thing is, no one understands the Turkish explanation either. So why waste your time? Nasıl yani geçmişte başlamış hala? Şimdi mesela ben geçmişte koşuyordum, geldim, bitti mi yani şimdi hocam? Nasıl o? Bitti, koşmuyorum artık mesela. Ama böyle koşuyor gibi yaparsam öyle mi olacak? If you start doing these things, and there's no end to that, believe me. Look at our students. They spend half a day to make one English statement. They're like obligation ama inner değil. External obligation. Çünkü galiba external, mesela babam gelmemi istiyor. Ben istemiyorum da. O zaman have to herhalde. Değil mi? Çünkü inner olunca I have to go home. Hocam demek istiyor, babam istediği için gitmek zorunda. See the victim that you have created? One simple statement causes like hours. What kind of an obligation is that? And then suddenly one day traffic signs come. And you say, you mustn't park here. Oh, niye? Inner. I want to. Stupid police. They don't allow you to park. So, I don't have to park there, diyeceğim ben hocam. Çünkü external obligation. See the victim you have created? Okay. Oh my God, I have so many stories. I'm going to write a book one day. But I'm so worried that English teachers may try to kill me because I'm revealing their secrets. Okay. Anything else when they switch to Turkish?
By trying to correct their mistake.
Yeah, okay. Error correction.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
First, frustration.
Can you give me an example? Because I really want to make sure that I have understood correctly. An example.
For example, we say on the table, but maybe students will say table on, like that instead.
Okay,
It's
so
about
when you want to correct that, what do you say? Üstünde diyeceksin. Is that? Okay. See, that's another issue. That's a very, very dangerous example because Turkish doesn't have prepositions.
Yes,
Yeah, it has postpositions. And now students will kill themselves. Dedim işte hocam, table on.
No.
On the table. Okay. Yeah, okay, sometimes maybe something like this. How about that? My mother and father visit my grandmother last week. Ne visit? Last week diyorsun. Ne demen lazım? Is it more like this? Okay. Why can't we do that in English? I guess we can. Yeah? Okay. So, what I'm trying to say is, whatever excuse you come up with, it's a bad excuse, I'm sorry. Because very much like Turkish, English is also a language, and it is used for communication. It is not a school subject matter that you can talk about and then forget. This is not history. This is not geography. You don't have a topic. You have the whole communication system that you need to deal with. Right? Okay. I have summarized some excuses from my own observations and experiences to explain a complicated aspect of language because they say we want our students to understand more easily. Geçmişte başlamış, hiç durmadan devam etmiş, hala daha speaking zaman devam eden eylemlerde present perfect kullanıyoruz. Progressive de ne zaman kullanıyoruz, onu da sonra anlatacağım. To give the instructions of an activity. Şimdi çocuklar oyun oynayacağız. 2 gruba ayrılmanızı istiyorum. An instruction is a reason for communication. You can give it in English. You don't need to give it in Turkish. You don't have to show off. You're talking to a bunch of learners. Use simple sentences, short sentences. Demonstrate. Use your body. Okay? If the instruction is too complex, don't play underestimate that game, for God's sake. Find something else. If you cannot simplify the instruction, just let it go. And never underestimate the cognitive abilities of your students. They are not idiots. They're smart human beings, okay? To give the meaning of a vocabulary item, because the teachers say, we want to save our time and effort. Yarım saat ben şimdi onu mu anlatacağım? Söylerim geçer. Really? Everything you do is an investment. Remember, this will come back to haunt you one day. Okay? To manage a classroom, this is an issue because scolding and praising are more effective when done in their one. So I know all the excuses, but what are the impressions that we create? This is the one that I have been mentioning. Okay? If there is communication, we're going to do it in Turkish. English, I will only use it for example sentences. Bak şimdi, I am sleeping. Ne dedim? Ben uyuyorum dedim. Ben nerede? See? Grammar, translation. I don't want to say method, because it's not even a method, unfortunately. Right? The other impression is, wait, don't worry. The teacher is going to say it in Turkish anyways, soon. Just be patient. There's no need for any challenge for us. Pretend that you don't understand anything. Hocam Türkçe'de söyler misiniz? These people can play computer games. They can understand interactive games, respond, win a war, a strategy war. So they can definitely understand you. Right? Another impression, another wrong conception. Translation is a natural skill. So, together with speaking, listening, reading and writing, people pick up translation. When you're dealing with little kids, for example, you see that they're approaching the socket over there on the wall. So what do? You say it first in Turkish. Elime. When you see that child cannot understand, you switch to another language. Don't touch. Is that it? Is that how you train your child? If he or she doesn't understand English, switch to French. German, Japanese, Chinese. Jing Feng Feng. What do we do when our child doesn't understand Turkish? Translation is never a natural language skill. It is a learned intellectual skill. People attend universities, for God's sake, to translate. And these poor kids don't burn their brain switching back and forth. Right? Again, use exaggerated intonation, exaggerated body language to express the meaning. Okay? I bet you have seen on the net several examples of these crazy translations. 2 months ago, I was in Konya to give a seminar, and they allowed me to stay in a 5-star hotel. 5-star hotel, guys. And of course, the breakfast time. This is an open buffet, and I was walking and trying to choose things to keep my body shape, and I saw this gözleme with observation. I have heard this before from my students, my colleagues, but this was the first time I saw it. I was really shocked, and I called the chef. I said, I'm terribly sorry, but do you know what that means? And the guy said, gözleme. He said, no, observation. Gözlem yapmak demek. Ben gelir de sizi böyle gözlemlersem sabahtan akşama. Ona denir. Adam ne yiyeceğini bilmeyecek ya. Observation. Yummy, yummy, yummy. What the hell? Right. Pastry. Right. I don't know. Some kind of an explanation. You don't need to translate everything. This is something cultural. Allah Allah. Hani mantıya logic demişler ya. Logic, mantık. Mantık, C'sini kaldırınca mantı olur. Turkish intelligence. Yes, fascinating. Fascinating. Yes, language cheese. Definitely chicken translation. Peach chicken, man. Yeah, you have, oh my God, I have seen one from the ministry's website. 6th International Hand Job Symposium. Yes. Yeah. I'm not going to even explain what it means, but the Western world, look at the Turkish society. We have the 6th International Hand Job Symposium. Do you have any? And they call us underdeveloping countries. We are the most developed country in the world. Yeah, okay. Sorry, it's a dirty example, but so, yes.
What about cultural components and, for example, a joke? You sometimes switch to Turkish to make the joke, understandable, more clear.
Like what? I need an example.
You just said 5-star hotel. Boru değil yani.
Odun. Boru değil. Yeah. No, not in the classroom. I wouldn't do this. This is with you guys. Usually, well, the language that I use with my colleagues and my students is different. Of course, with my students, I never give dirty examples like this. I act prim and proper. I'm a professor. So all the examples are very clean. Okay?
No, I'm asking what should you do. I'm not.
Don't. Just, if you want to make a joke, do it in English. Learn some English jokes. Okay? Most of them translate pretty well to English because human nature is universal. So things that we laugh are laughable for Western world as well. Not Nasreddin Hoca jokes. I find them not highly laughable anyways. So don't try to translate them. But most of the jokes do translate well. Use English language. Okay? If, for example, you go to, I don't know, let's say, Britain, and you walk into a restaurant, and if you see, say, fish and chips, and that you will see definitely, when you ask, what kind of an answer are you going to get? What is this? Fish and chips. Because it doesn't look like fish. What is it? They will just give you the English definition because it belongs to their culture. Okay? Here we have Balıkesir. See? So that's our culture, that's their culture. I'm not saying that that you should, kind of encourage your students to move towards British culture. No. Or American. No. What I'm saying is you need to create this atmosphere. You need to make sure that they understand Turkish belongs to Turks, English belongs to them. So if you're speaking English, you need to work in that system. Okay? Right. The other misconception that we create is students feel discouraged. I can't learn this. See, even my teacher can't speak in English. So how do you expect me to speak in English? Okay? And this is a cartoon I found on the net. And this is the view of language teachers in Turkish society. Türkiye'de İngilizce öğretmenlerinin yarısı İngilizce konuşamıyormuş. This is the impression that we create. 4 years ago, when I was in Tokat, I was giving a training session. This ministry bureaucrat gave an opening speech. And there he said, English teachers cannot teach English because they don't know English. Of course, the speech was in Turkish. I got so upset. And when he said, do you want to take the stage to say a few things for the opening ceremony, I said yes. And I took the microphone and I especially gave the speech in English without having any notes. And then I said in English to the audience, because they were mainly English teachers, now, isn't it high time we taught these people a lesson that we have good competence of English, we can speak in English. And of course they were applauding like hell, and this poor guy was like, what's happening? That is happening. Okay? If someone backstabbed you, don't do it to someone else. If your teacher, one of the teachers, all of the teachers, failed you, don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. I love this. I borrowed it from my colleague Tony Gur. He said I could use it. So the question is, are we actually doing what is best for our students? Or are we doing what is most convenient for us? Let's be realistic. We keep saying, we want our students to understand more easily. We want to make the meaning clear for them. Is it for them or for us? I think it's for us. Because we find it very easy to explain everything in Turkish. And then, of course, after a while, you start using your English. And when you come to visit the department, pay a visit to one of the instructors, the professors that you have here, you will say, hocam devlette çalışmaya başlayalım. İngilizcem çok geriledi. Why? Çünkü Türkçe anlatıyorum. See? Challenge yourself. If you want to improve your English, use English. One, you will be a wonderful role model for your students. They will look up to you. They won't look up to George, because George is a born American. But you, Aydan, have suffered and learned. If she has done it, I can do it. That is the image that you can create. Okay? Now I have some do's and don'ts. How much time do I have to go through? 4 o'clock? Thank you very much. Just right. Don't forget that I'm going to leave a copy. So if you want to read, you can. So don't worry. I just want to focus on some of the writes here, I love this cartoon. It's not Turkish, by the way. It says, I'm not sure if they understood the lesson, but I taught it very well. This is impossible. If there is no learning, that means there is no teaching. You cannot say, I feel so tired, but I gave. Passive voice. Well, no one took it. Remember, check it from a dictionary, look it up. In order for someone to give something, someone has to take. Because, let's try it. Let's try to give this to someone who's not going to take it. Can you help me? Can you please stand up? Don't take it from me. Okay, just mind your own business. I want to give this. Okay? So I'm going to put it there, but it's not going to stay. With one move, it will fall. So my efforts are just a waste. But if I can create the motivation for the student to take this, then grab it. See? Now it won't fall. So don't Allah aşkına say, I have given all the tenses. Good. Has anyone taken it? That is the main. Thank you very much. I need them. Thank you. Okay. Another one, I love teachers who say, I just cannot waste my time. I need to catch up with the curriculum. By the way, in Turkey, no one knows the meaning of curriculum. They think that curriculum is the content list of the book. Curriculum is totally abstract. Honest, come on. How can you catch up with the curriculum? Curriculum means philosophy. Syllabus? Okay, I buy that. Okay, so I have to catch up with the syllabus. Pay attention to the subject. I have to catch up. You know what? Go home, get into your jammies, make a nice cold cup of coffee, catch up with the syllabus at home, comfortably. I'm catching up. Because that's what you're doing in the classroom. No one is coming with you. You're just, şimdi bu da var, yaptım, aktivite 5, anladın mı? Tamam, sen git, öbür sayfayı çevir. Bitirmem lazım. They are not learning anything. What are you finishing? And they're like, bunlar sınavda çıkacak. Sınavda çıkacak. And that psychotic exam threat. SBS'ye hazırlayacağım. TEOG'a hazırlayacağım. Have you seen the question? The questions are directly taken from the book. It covered the book, for God's sake. They will learn. If you learn, you will pass. Pay attention. Exam taking strategies and skills will help only if you have a good competency level of English. Otherwise, 3 günde KPSS'yi geçiriyorum. Go. Yeah, okay. Very quickly. I mean, you can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. Okay. You're going to study this by yourself. Learner autonomy. Okay. Don't try to explain grammar for grammar's sake. Grammar is within language. Without grammar, there's no language. Let them learn from the context by actually using it, reading it, listening to it, speaking, writing. Don't explain grammar in isolation, because it is impossible. I know that we have all the good intentions. We think that we can create a miracle. If If I give this grammar pill, the student, whenever needs, will take it and start speaking. No such miracle is going to happen. Okay? When you start explaining grammar in isolation, students get more confused. And never, never come up with explanations like, see, will is different from going to. Nasıl yani hocam? Şimdi şöyle. If you have already made the plan, future plan, you use going to. But if you're making the plan at that time, you will use will. Who knows? This is perlocution. The speaker knows. So if the student says, I'm going to Italy next week, can you say, no, say will? Because the student may say, Ama hocam, I have been planning this for such a long time, wallahi. The speaker knows it. As a listener, you are supposed to get the illocutionary meaning of it. So don't create these. And I love those crazy explanations. Look at the sky. Can you see the clouds? See the clouds? It is going to rain. When did you become the god? Living in Ankara, we have so many days with clouds in the sky, never getting one drop of rain. So why are you making all the stupid, crazy explanations? Or, for example, they show a photograph or picture of a man with a towel and say, he is going to get a shower. No, he has some other plans. You can't know it. This is for the speaker. So if you start doing it, then they will say, peki şey nasıl olacak hocam? Will going to be the present continuous. Şimdi şöyle yapıyoruz. If you are 100% sure and have already planned, you're going to say, I am going to Italy with future meaning. If you have already planned, but not 100% sure, peki kaç 100% sure oluyor hocam? 70 civarı. See? Is this language? These exist because languages are rich. Only the speaker knows what he or she wants to say. Don't come up with these crazy verses. Real verses going to. Simple past versus present perfect. Like a boxing match. Who's going to win? It's impossible. Because you will always find yourself in trouble. Because you're dealing with language. Don't forget that. Always give it in context and say, look at the context. What does it mean in the context? Not without the context. You know the joke. Pope, one day, decided to visit France. So he took the plane, and when they landed, of course, lots of journalists surrounded him, saying, "Dear Pope," Pope is the leader of the Catholic world, you know. "What do you think of the prostitutes in Paris?" And poor Pope says, "Are there prostitutes in Paris?" Next day, all newspapers come up with the headlines. The first question the Pope asked, "Are there prostitutes in Paris?" See, if you take a statement from out of a context, it loses its meaning. Don't. Thank you very much for being with me, listening to me, and contributing. Thank you.